Thing that I always seen that just kept coming up was my mom's choice of men. So I'm hearing her on the phone and she's like, yeah, he has a red shirt, blue shirt, da, 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 da. And I'm like, I got a blue shirt on or whatever. I'm like, he don't have a blue shirt on. I'm like, is she calling the police on us? And next thing you know, I had to spend the night at my homeboy house. I ain't got no clothes. I don't go to school the next day because I ain't got no clothes, right? Yeah. So next thing you know, I come home and me and my mom have to have a heart-to-heart talk, right? And I'm like, Mom, you raised me to be a provider and a protector. I'm paying the rent, so I'm providing. Why won't you let me protect you? And she said, protect me for what? I said, he put his hands on you at some point and you got him back in the house. So the thing about it is, you'll call the police on your own son, but did you call the police on Leo or whatever his name was when he put his hands on you? I ain't never seen you call the police on nobody. I've always seen the same narrative in women that with my mom. So I wanted to see if I can add value or awareness to what women seem to not see or tend to continue to want to do and lie about wanting to do it. Because it's a want.
It's a want.
Because it's pookie pickers and loser choosers now. A lot of, in our community, black women, sadly, their first baby daddy is usually a loser.
Hey everybody, it's your girl DJ with Plan for Keeps Dating App and Podcast, and today I have Aaron, aka Mr. Let Go. He is an emotional attachment coach. He created a deeper discussion card game that helps men and women vet dating prospects by getting an understanding of how they were raised. Childhood trauma is the main reason why people find themselves in bad relationships. I definitely agree with that. And the topic he is here to speak about today is how we adults look for mates that will help us relive our childhood all over again. We're all driven to recreate the dynamic of our first emotional wound so we can change the ending and win this time. Like childhood trauma do-over. How are you today, Mr.
I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
You doing great?
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad you made time to come on the show and to talk about this topic. I feel like it's so important.
Mm-hmm.
So before we dive into the topic, I like to get to know all of my guests, especially coaches. I feel like coaches, they have their own story as to why they ended up being a coach, and I would love to hear yours.
Okay, so this is interesting because I was just talking to the ladies in my coaching group chat today about something in particular. But what started me into wanting to do this is mainly because of when I was a kid, I was able to see because I was the only child.
Okay.
Right? And when you're the only child, there's no other distractions other than you and your mama or you and your parents, right? So I was able to observe the majority of the things that my mom did say, you know, and what she went through and her habits and things, right? And she was extremely emotionally available to me.
Okay.
And I had a pretty okay life, even though we live in the hood. But one thing that I always seen that just kept coming up was my mom's choice of men.
Got you.
My mom was like small. She was like 130 pounds, super pretty, long hair. And she would always choose these bums. And when I say bums, in the hood, a couple things is always in the hood.
Okay.
It's a plaza. And the plaza, I have the grocery store.
Okay.
It's like Big K groceries, you know, it's not a real grocery store. It's just like Big K or Big H,
Piggly.
something like that. Yeah. A liquor store and like a sandwich shop. And then back then it was like a little music store. So all together, those were the guys that my mom would date. The dudes that stand outside of the liquor store trying to talk to the women that walk down the street.
Oh, wow. Oh,
You
okay.
know, hey, what's going on? You know, and they'll just stand outside a liquor store. So I would know or not know, but recognize the guy that is in my house because I seen him on the damn corner.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm like, you know, I'm a kid, so I'm not really judgmental. Like, why is he? But in my mind, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So she'll date this guy, and then one Christmas, just to make this a little shorter,
Okay.
my mom broke up with the guy, you know, corner guy, and he got mad because she broke up with him and drunk bleach to, you know, unalive himself.
Oh my god.
And he walked over to our house. It was like a couple days before Christmas, and comes in the living room. And of course, he just drank the bleach. So it's burning his insides. He vomits all over the Christmas tree. All of my presents falls on the Christmas tree. I'm dead serious. So it's vomit and him laying all over the living room.
Okay.
It's ruining my Christmas, your Christmas Eve or whatever. And I'm up here like, what in the world is going on? You know, she called her, yeah. So they end up saying what he did, right? My whole Christmas is ruined because of Christmas is, everything's
Yeah, that's traumatic as hell.
right. So I'm up here looking at my mom like, Mom, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at these different types of guys and they're always like stupid bums. And then I get to the point where I'm 13 years old, right?
Okay.
And I'm like, I'm sick of this. Because what has been transpiring between the age of 6 and the age of 13 is a dude would either beat on my mom or, do something dumb like he's doing. And I know where they came from because in the hood, everybody kind of knows each other or seen each other. So I know where these guys came from or what they were doing before they met my mom. So I'm like, I know their character because I'm like, I seen you,
Right.
and I'm like, what in the world? So when I got to the age of 13, I said, I'm done with this. And I literally told my mom, like, all right, this is what we about to do. We on Section 8, we in the hood.
Okay.
And I have a conversation with my mom. I'm like, Mom, this is what we going to do from now on. One, none of your boyfriends can come over here. None of these guys, no man can come over here. And if they come over here, it's going to be a problem. And you got to understand, I'm 13, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm
So
thinking.
she's like, what? This is my house. I keep a roof over your head and blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
And I say like, well, actually, Mom, this is my house and I keep a roof over your head.
Oh, wow.
Because she explained to me exactly what Section 8 works. You wouldn't have this low, because she only had to pay $35 a month versus $350 a month in the hood, right? And guess who paid the $35 a month?
It had to be you because of...
I paid it. Because my mom raised me to be a provider and a protector, right? She literally did that. So she wanted me, because I had like a little part-time job. I'm a kid, right?
Yeah.
I was cutting grass and I was selling drugs also.
Oh, wow.
But she didn't really know about that. But I was doing things so she knew that, I'm capable of coming up with $35 a month.
Right.
It's not a big deal,
Yeah.
And so I'm paying the $35 a month. And because of my existence, she only has to pay $35 a month. So I'm like, no, this is my house.
Ooh.
So of course she, slaps me. I'm like, okay, you can do what you want to do. It's still my house. I don't care.
Yeah.
So one of the things we're going to stop doing is none of these dudes are going to come over here. And I'm letting you know now, let somebody come over here, I'm going to beat his ass.
At 13 years
At
old.
13. Well, it wasn't me that's going to do it. It's me and my homeboys.
Yeah, you had connections and stuff, I'm sure. Okay.
You're in the hood, because most dangerous person in the hood is the young dudes, not the grown men. Grown men be having jobs. Young dudes ain't got nothing to live for, nothing.
That's true.
If you think about right now in Philly, in Chicago, who's the most demon people?
It's
It's the
the
young
young kids.
people.
Even here in Atlanta, like you starting to see some
Yeah.
crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The demons are the kids, right?
Yeah.
Not the grown men. You know what I'm saying? So I was somewhat of a little demon back then. So I'm like, man, okay, play with me. So I come home from school, and guess what?
There's a man over there.
Is one of her little, exes that trying to come back, smiling her face, that at one point slapped her around, a year ago. But you know how dudes be trying to spin the block,
Yeah.
right? So I come in the house like, oh, okay. So you want to try me? So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, Mom, I warned you, but apparently you didn't want to heed my warning. So you gonna tell him or I'm gonna tell him?
Ooh.
And he's like, he think it's kind of like not his house, but he been there before.
Yeah,
so
he
he's
can-
like, what are you talking about? You need to go. So he stands up and he's like 40.
Yeah.
And of course he's, bigger than me. I'm like, oh, okay, so that's what are we doing? No problem, right?
Mhm.
My mom's like, Aaron, what are you doing? So I just go in the back room, pick up the house phone, like, hey, and all my homeboys, we're playing Sega Genesis over somebody's house, right?
Wow. Okay.
We ain't doing nothing.
Yeah.
Sitting around drinking beer or whatever, little stuff right on the back porch, not, in the house. And so everybody, I know where everybody at. So I'm calling like, hey, everybody come to my back steps. We about to, get into something and bring some bats. So my homeboy had a bat because we play football in the backyard. We play softball in the backyard. So everybody got like sports stuff.
Yeah.
Bring the bats. And they like, oh, all right. So they ready. So they come on the back porch, and our back porch was like the steps is here, and then the front steps is here, and then the doors are like this, right?
Okay.
So so I leave out, so we on the back porch, so we can hear the door, so we just sit, and we're kids, we don't have nothing to do. That's the most dangerous part. So we sit back there for like 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever, and then it's kind of like a little dark, so we chilling, we ain't doing nothing, and we hear boom, Birdman hands. So we walk around to the front, beat the dog shit out of them right on the front lawn, right? And next thing you know, my mom is, now back in the day in the hood, it ain't no AC. So all the windows are open.
Okay.
So I'm able to easily hear my mom like upstairs on the phone. So I'm hearing her on the phone, and she's like, yeah, he has a red shirt, blue shirt, da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, I got a blue shirt on or whatever. I'm like, he don't have a blue shirt on. I'm like, is she calling the police on us? Wow. So, of course, I break out running. My homeboy break out running. Everybody break out running. It was like 4 of us. And next thing you know, I had to spend the night at my homeboy house. I ain't got no clothes. I don't go to school the next day because I ain't got no clothes, right?
Yeah.
So next thing you know, I come home, and me and my mom have to have a heart-to-heart talk, right? And I'm like, Mom, you raised me to be a provider and a protector. I'm paying the rent, so I'm providing. Why won't you let me protect you? And she said, protect me for what? I said, he put his hands on you at some point, and you got him back in the house. So the thing about it is, you'll call the police on your own son, but did you call the police on Leo or whatever his name was when he put his hands on you? I ain't never seen you call the police on nobody.
Wow.
But the second your son comes in to protect you from a man that don't put his hands on you, you call the police on me, on your own son. Can you explain this to me? Me and my mom had a great relationship. So I'm like, what are we doing? And she just put her head down like, Aaron, you're going to have me single for the rest of my life. So that's really the only answer that I have from you, right? So now, fast forward to not now, but 5 years ago and now, because nothing's really changed, right? To answer your question, why I became a coach. 5 years ago and now. just an example of what I was talking to the ladies. There's a video of some show, right?
Okay.
I don't even know what the show is. And there's a woman and there's a guy. And all of a sudden, the guy is literally saying to the woman, like, you know what? It's some type of dating show, some type of reality show, whatever.
Okay.
And the guy is like, yo, I'm starting to realize that you're not consistent. You seem to be all over the place. You wanted to do this, and now you want to do this, right? And she literally says, think about this and my mom.
Okay.
She literally says, well, I've heard this from 3-4 different people in my past, and I feel uncomfortable right now.
The
And
accountability piece.
right. And he's like, what does that mean? If you're inconsistent and other people have said you're inconsistent, why are you uncomfortable? Because I don't like how I feel right now. So instead of saying, oh, you're another person that sees that I'm inconsistent, let me change, she doesn't do that. She turns around and start saying little, like weird words like, I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah, or deflecting kind of the
Right, right. And then she turns around and literally says, you know what? You're a bitch. And some of the people watching may know what show I'm talking about. I don't know the name of the show.
I'm going to look it up.
Right. It's a guy and a woman, and the woman is from New York, and he wants her to move somewhere else.
Yeah.
And now she's like, I don't want to move somewhere else. I want to stay in New York. So that was the issue. And she turns around and says, you're a bitch. And I'm up here, watching the clip. I'm like, what in the world? So her saying you're a bitch is now causing commotion in the reality show house.
Right.
Now the cameraman and somebody else like, hey, what's going on? Now she doesn't have to have that conversation about her being inconsistent no more because she started a commotion. The same thing with my mom, 20 years ago? It's the same thing.
Got you.
My mom called the police in order to cause a commotion to keep herself from being accountable for me protecting her.
Got you.
So women tend to find ways to get away from or get out of changing.
Got you. I want to play devil's advocate real quick.
Okay.
About your mom.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there's a possibility she could have called the police because she didn't want you to end up like the thugs in the neighborhood?
No.
You don't?
Absolutely not. Me and my mom had a great relationship. Like I said, we're sitting down talking.
Yeah.
And you got to understand, if that was the case, she would have said, I don't want you becoming a thug. No, she said, if you keep running off the men that I'm choosing, I ain't going to find no man. She said that.
Yeah.
So think about what you just said. Her words was, you're going to have me single for the rest of my life. Instead of saying, you know what, you're right. I'm going to make some changes. I'm going to get some therapy. She didn't do that. She decided to call the police on me, just like the same thing the woman did in the video. She started a commotion in order to scare me or scare him out of his stance.
Got you.
In order to change the narrative where I'm the problem, or in that video, he's the problem. So we as men would stop holding a microscope to the woman.
Got you. Let me ask you another question. In regards to your mom,
Mm-hmm.
have y'all ever had a conversation about like her upbringing and why she sought attention the way that she did from the type of men that she did, or y'all never got a chance to?
I was 13, so that wasn't. I wasn't cognitively able to do that. Yeah, I was a kid.
What happened after that? What happened after that? Did she continue to just have men come over?
Oh, no. She never dated another man for the rest of her life. She ended up passing away. So mainly because, think about this, she refused. Because there was a guy, it was something back in the day called the Rainbow Coalition. It was something big in Atlanta.
That sounds familiar. Okay.
Yeah. So the head of the Rainbow Coalition, way back then, it wasn't nothing, but he was starting it, right? One of the heads of the Rainbow Coalition liked my mom, but he was light skinned and he was short.
And that wasn't her
And
type.
she literally was like, I literally would, because in the conversations, this was afterwards. Because we all had, had a good conversation and good, dialogue. And I'll be like, Mom, Mr. So-and-so seems to like you. Cause when you were a kid, you see dudes be like, yo, I want to talk to you, and you be like, you're a mean mug him. You'll see, dudes looking at your mom booty or whatever, and you'll look back, in the grocery store.
Yeah.
So you see everything, right? So next thing you know, I knew he was trying to holler at her because we would go down to the Rainbow Coalition meetings, right? And he'll pull my mom to the side. I'm like, man, this nigga trying to talk to my mom. So I'm like, Mom, he had a Cadillac. He had a nice car and stuff. Because they would visit the hood. They did not live there. They would visit the hood to try to gather the hood people to start a revolution type of thing, right?
Yeah.
So he would visit the hood. So that means he lived in the suburbs somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, Mom, why don't you talk to him instead of those guys? And she's like, he's not my type. He's too short. But look, so to answer your question, to come all the way back around, I've always seen the same narrative in women that with my mom. So I wanted to see if I can add value or awareness to what women seem to not see or tend to continue to want to do and lie about wanting to do it. Because it's a want.
It's a want.
Because it's pookie pickers and loser choosers now. A lot of in our community, black women, sadly, their first baby daddy is usually a loser. And if they have a second baby daddy, and I mean unwed women, not married women, they be losers.
I can agree. I think, as you probably know, with you being an attachment coach, we tend to flock to what's familiar to
That's
us.
it.
When we're like in our subconscious and not being conscious of our decisions. So I'm pretty sure that's what you do.
Yeah.
With your coaching.
And it goes back to how you introduced me and about, my card game and everything.
Yeah.
It stems from, just like you said, my mom's childhood. I never got into that because, I'm young. I don't really care. I just want my mom to stop doing something.
Right.
So I didn't really care. Mom, what's your upbringing? I didn't care. I want to go back outside and play. I'm just trying to make sure my mom don't get her ass beat another time.
Yeah.
So the details, I don't care. I'm a kid. I want to go ride my bike, right? Sell crack. Buy some Jordans, right? So people, traumatized people, and most of us black people were traumatized, tend to unconsciously relive our childhoods all over again. So it's a very good possibility that my mom's mom was a pookie picker and she's seen some dynamic because we want to relive it, even though it's bad or negative, right? Because sometimes, especially women, they think they're so smart where they're going to outsmart the pookie, outsmart the bad environment, right?
Yeah.
So it's like Magneto from X-Men. You just come up and just make everything start moving and stuff because you're so smart. So you're like, no, you're going to do this. No, that's not how it works. Because you're attached to these people emotionally. So your intellect doesn't necessarily work on Pookie because Pookie is dicking you down. So your intelligence and his, the emotional attachment you have with Pookie, it doesn't translate to intelligence. Because if it was, you wouldn't be with Pookie in the first place.
I agree.
Because intelligence and it's like book smart and street smarts are totally different.
They are.
So a lot of women, they'll get their degrees and they'll go to college and now they think they're smart, but their decision making is still the same way. And it shows you because at the end of the day, for anybody out there thinking that they're smart, what you've done financially is one way. You could be educated. I can go drive a bus and make a whole bunch of money. Yeah. I can be a scientist and make a whole bunch of money. But when I come back home, some people do drugs. A lawyer can be doing drugs, doctors. Yeah. So you could be a whole doctor, a whole astronaut. But when you come home, if you still doing the same dumb shit, you're not as smart as you think you are.
Yeah. What is it? EQ intelligence is different from
IQ.
the IQ.
Right. So it's an
yeah.
EQ. It's the emotional intelligence part that actually forms and directs your life, not your education and not your intelligence.
Yeah.
It's the emotional part because that's where the attachments come from. That's where the childhood trauma comes from. And sometimes we feel like if we can just get an education, if we could just get too smart for our childhood trauma, it'll just go away.
Yeah. Yeah.
The attachments are literally deep and has nothing to do with our intellect.
Definitely agree with you there. So, in regards to helping, because you say you mostly work with women.
Mm-hmm.
So, in regards
I help men too, though.
Got you. So, in regards to helping men and women become more emotionally intelligent, more conscious of their subconscious, what are tips or things that you teach in your coaching?
I have something called the 17 principles of letting go. So overall,
Okay.
yeah. And a lot of the women that I coach, they have the 17 principles in their bathroom, on their mirror, at their jobs, so they can keep it, close to them. But overall, like one of the principles is I know nothing.
Okay.
See, when you stay in a state of I know nothing, there's no reason to argue with another person. And what do women love doing? Fussing and arguing because they want to be right or they think they right and they never wrong. But when you begin the journey of I know nothing, which means I'm wrong, because if you move in a direction of I'm wrong and other person may be right, it opens your mind. It opens your perspective. Because guess what? Both of y'all can be right or both of y'all can be wrong.
Yeah.
But if you as a woman spend so much energy trying to be right all the time or argue your point all the time, you stay closed-minded and you're never going to be open to new information.
Got you. How do you teach? I'm sure you teach men the same thing because I know there's some men who can also.
Yeah, modern men think they right all the time. Yeah. Because they've been raised by women. So they see something and they just, take in what somebody else is doing. And now men are being as argumentative as women. So the approach is to not be right, is to be wrong.
Got you.
Because when you are okay with being wrong, or here's another part of, or another principle is I'm okay with being misunderstood. It's called I'm at peace with being misunderstood.
I like that one.
I don't care. Like, for example, on social media, I might say something about single motherhood. It's not bad at all. But if I say the phrase single motherhood, you hate women, you're a terrible person, your mama was black, all this stupid stuff, right? But instead of me arguing with them, I ain't even say nothing. What wrong? I know nothing. So there's another principle called tell me more. So I'll go in the comments and say, why do you think I hate women? Why do you think this? Why do you think that? Right? And I would start a dialogue. It don't turn into nothing because all they want to just be mad.
Yeah.
Because they're triggered by the word single mother. It's automatically an attack, right?
Yeah.
But the bottom line is my approach is what I teach.
Gotcha.
I know nothing. Tell me more. Why do you feel like this? And another side of this is for men, because I help men too. It's something I call whose life sucks the most. So between two people, no matter what environment it is, the person that is the loudest, the most disrespectful, the more boisterous, the person standing up, that person's life sucks more than the quiet person. So if you have that mindset of I know nothing, and it puts you in a position where you're observing, because if you play whose life sucks the most, your first need to do is observe whose life sucks the most. And if that person's standing up and you this and you that, I'm gonna do this, and you sitting down, you're like, oh wow,
Got you.
my life is better than this person. So it puts you in a position like, oh, poor guy, or oh, poor woman in my comment. Yeah. You hate women. Your life sucks. Sorry, So now I'm moving in a different direction, right? Yeah. Because the thing about it is, I help men and women protect their first impulse.
Okay.
Think about that. Your first impulse is to defend yourself, right?
Usually, yes.
Right. So my teachings changes your impulse to your first impulse is to listen, is to observe,
Right.
is to ask questions. Tell me more.
Right.
Whose life sucks the most? Oh, they're acting up. Their life sucks. Let me see if I can help or not make worse.
Got you.
So say I'm in a bar and a dude is like, oh, you're, I'm like, all right, it's all good, bro. I'm not going to be like, and match his energy, because that's another thing I teach. I don't teach people to match energy. You are yourself.
Right.
They have dealt with a certain amount of trauma that you probably didn't deal with. So how are you going to jump in a ring and they probably done been R'd or M'd or just all kinds of stuff.
Right.
And if you ain't been through it, you're going to lose against that person because they have like fury.
And nothing to lose, probably.
And nothing to lose. You ain't got no fury if you ain't been through what they went through. They'll go to prison for disrespect. I ain't going to prison for no disrespect.
Right.
I'm finna call the police like a Karen. Get this dude out of here. Because I don't care.
Right.
So as long as you're like in control or observant of your own impulses and you're observant of other people's impulses, now you don't have to be so argumentative, so combative, so ready to just risk it all.
Yeah.
Even when it comes to cheating or whatever. If a chick is all in my face, I'm not just like, damn, look at them titties. I'm like, why is she in my face? What's she doing?
Yeah.
Not saying I wouldn't knock her down because that depends on the situation, but I'm a little bit more observant because this might be a setup. This might be a setup.
Got you.
You know how many dudes got killed because, there's a setup or whatever?
Yeah,
I grew up in the hood. We're not saying we, but dudes I know would send a chick over there to either get some information.
Yeah.
Because I used to sell drugs, right? So you selling drugs over here, somebody selling drugs over there. And somebody will send a girl over there either to see what they over there doing, what they got, or either to get them robbed.
Okay. Got you. So that's why. So when did it start for you as far as incorporating emotional intelligence in your own life and practicing these principles?
Back to my mom. My mom was the most emotionally intelligent person. But like I said, EQ and IQ, she had some attachment issues. So it's like this. You ever heard of somebody say that they can teach somebody something or they can give great advice, but they don't never follow it?
All the time.
That was my mom. Okay. My mom gave great advice, but she never followed it.
Got you. Do you forgive her for that to this day?
For what? She didn't do nothing to me. She did it herself. My mom was getting slapped around, not me. What the hell I got to forgive her for? She ain't did nothing to me. She let me.
Except for calling the police.
One last thing.
Okay.
She sat her ass down when I came back after my mom called the police. She sat her ass down and allowed me to protect her after that. Like I said, she never dated another man because she did not bring a man of substance to the house, but she stopped dating.
Got you.
So I have nothing to forgive my mom for because we always had a great relationship. Yeah. Her calling the police, she apologized and was just like, and I was like, I get it. It was an impulse. She was trying to put herself in a position where she can have control over me again. I'm a young boy growing up, and she's like, what am I going to do with this nigga? Yeah. Let me call the police on him. That may shut him up. And I come back like, no, what the hell? So she's like, all right, this ain't going to work. Oh, and I did threaten to leave. And I said, if I leave, Section 8 is going, because back then they would do home checks not to see if I'm there, to see if a man is in the house. So imagine I'm not there. Where your son at? Yeah. So I threatened my mom. I said, Mom, because back in the day, I'm 13, 14. I can get with a 19-year-old who owns Section 8 too, got a kid, got a little 2-year-old or whatever that, you know what I'm saying? Don't have a baby by some random dude and she got her own place. It was chicks everywhere. So I was spending the night out and my mom would get mad at me, like, this is my house. I'm like, Mom, you keep playing. I'm going to move in with Shaquisha and you're gonna be over here. Now you're gonna have to pay $350 a month. Cause guess who gonna tell that I ain't there no more? Play them if you want to.
Oh my gosh. Okay, got you. I was just curious because I know sometimes children don't forgive certain things parents did. I know with my own issues,
I was in control. It was nothing for me to forgive. I didn't get emmed. I didn't get hard. I didn't get beat on.
Yeah.
I was in full control. My mom was going through this stuff, not me. I was just looking at it like, yo, what is you doing?
Got you. Let me ask you this though, like in your own like dating and relationships, did you struggle with like anything in regards to emotional intelligence, your subconscious leading you to maybe not make the best decisions and then you having to grow from that, and that's why you're in this position? I know you wasn't perfect all the time.
I wasn't perfect, but I say but, right? Me and my homeboys had a little money. Right, I moved out when I was like 17.
Okay.
Back in the day, I had a one of the little hood cars. Right, my homeboy had an Impala, I had a Cutlass, and my other homeboy had a Cadillac.
Cutlass, okay.
Right, I had a Cut Dog. Right, I had the reverse 8 rims with the Vogues. Some people don't even know what the hell Vogues are. Look it up. They're very expensive tires with a yellow line going, because
the trim, right?
Yes, back then it was the cars used to have white trim going around.
Okay.
And every car is just black walls now, right? Back in the day, it used to be white walls, but I had yellow walls that was extremely expensive. They were called Vogue tires, right?
Okay.
So I did not only had an expensive paint job and expensive rims, I had expensive tires. So I had money. I had the 12s in the back. I had the speakers. I had the face off radio where you take. I'm going to the mall buying Jordans, right?
Yeah.
So me and my homeboys, we literally got our cars painted, $1,200 paint job, and we children. We all got our cars painted at the same time.
So basically, you were just always advanced.
I was advanced, and so I'm not gonna say perfect. I would say advanced.
Okay.
So we all got little bad, big booty, red bone chicks. Sorry to the chicks that aren't light skinned. I'm not saying anything. I'm not being a colorist.
It's okay.
But back in the day, a red bone was like a thing.
It was.
It wasn't I don't know why, and I'm not trying to sound anyway.
It was though. It's
but
okay.
Back in the 90s. You get your red bone. It just is what it is. Yeah. I'm sorry to the women that I date different different colors of women, but always black shades of women. You know what I'm saying? But back in the day, the chick I got was a red bone. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. And big booty chick or whatever. And then we married our chicks, and we all got houses out in the suburbs. Got you. My homeboy lived in Union City. I lived in Powder Springs, and my other homeboy lived in Jonesboro, I think. Okay. No, I lived in Jonesboro. Okay. Yeah. I ended up moving to Powder Springs. So I started my family, and we all started our families or whatever. So when it comes to perfect, I did some dumb stuff before I got married. But I would just leave. I was crying in the rain on one, like a Usher video, because trying to come back or whatever. We both was like in the rain arguing. Yeah, so I've done a whole bunch of stupid stuff. Got cheated on. I cheated on girls or whatever. So I did some stuff. But from an emotional standpoint, one way I could tell that I had a certain amount of control, I didn't stay in a bad situation. Gotcha. It'll be some stupid stuff and I would cheat, or it would be some stupid stuff and it would be, this and that. But it never got to the point where I'm just like, what is wrong with me? Why can't I? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Looking in the mirror like, why doesn't anybody love me? I wasn't like that. Yeah, I just, I
want to ask you something. I keep hearing control. Control, right? Did that translate badly in any of your relationships?
Meaning what?
Just being controlling at all. And
no.
You had to maneuver that? Or were you controlling? Describe what control means to you.
Okay, so something I also teach the women in my coaching group is the way you have control is you give it away. So the person who is in control is the person that who has the ability to give control away. Say I come out with my card game. Well, I have my card game, right?
Yeah.
And say somebody says I want 100,000 copies. I can't do that by myself.
Yeah.
So what do I got to do? I got to relinquish control, and I got to get an assistant. I got to get a person that does this. So what am I doing?
Publishing company, yeah.
So I'm giving away control in order to keep control, right? So the thing about it is, I am okay with delegating and relinquishing control, right? So say I get remarried. Well, I'm going to relinquish a certain amount of the control to her, delegating, right?
Yeah.
So with me, just like I did with my mom, I didn't make my mom do something. I negotiated something and I said, okay, this is what we're going to do. If we do this, this is going to happen. If we do this, but it wasn't, I'm going to do something to her.
Yeah.
I'm going to do something to the dude. Right. But if you get with Mr. So-and-so or a dude that just has a job,
yeah,
I ain't going to do nothing. So I'm not making her do something. I'm cutting something out of it because guess what? One thing that I do as a coach, to a certain degree,
okay,
I protect women from themselves, right? It's like a kid saying, I want to eat ice cream and it's 9:00 at night. Are you going to control your child? Or are you going to say, you can eat ice cream tomorrow,
we'll eat ice cream tomorrow,
but not tonight, right?
yeah.
That's not control. You're just you're just setting a boundary. Eating ice cream at night don't make no sense. You can eat ice cream, like when you get home from school.
Be sad and depressed.
Yeah. So you're setting a boundary and you're teaching boundaries. So with me, it's not about control. It's about setting boundaries and relinquishing control to other people that you trust.
Got you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I was never controlling.
Got you.
I would set boundaries and be like, hey, this is what I got going on over here. If it ain't working out for you, you can leave or you can dump me and I go over here.
Was it?
I'm not going to make you do nothing. I'm setting boundaries.
What's that saying? Can't left my way or the highway? Was it that with you in a sense?
No, not really, because I believe another thing I teach.
Okay.
I have a certain amount of standards and requirements. Okay. And I teach women to have standards and requirements. So that's like, say you dating a guy, and to a certain degree, you might be like, all right, my standard is I want to be married in a year and a half, 2 years or whatever. Yeah. So at some point, this conversation is going to come back up. And it is okay for you not to pick me, but you need to be ready to let me go.
Right.
Not, I'm going to dump you. I'm going to do this. Nope.
Yeah.
You have to be prepared to let me go.
Yeah.
I'm not dumping you. You're going to dump me because I want somebody that wants to marry me. Right. So I wouldn't tell you to get in the man's face and yell at him. You would set a variable and say, okay, after this certain time, I would like to have a conversation with you and say, let's make an assessment on our relationship and say, do you see us getting married?
Right.
And then, some dudes might lie. Some dudes might tell the truth. Yeah. But at the end of the day, time is going to tell. Because after a year and a half, and if he ain't married you,
then
dump me. Let me go. And if you love something, you let it go. And if it loves you back, it'll come back. Let me go. You see how I word that?
Yeah.
Let me go.
Got you. Okay. I think this is a good segue to your card game.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about your card game.
Yes.
Why you created it and just why people should buy your card game.
Well, I don't like the word should because there's another principle called never wear should shades. A lot of women love to say, well, he should know what he's doing. He should do this. He should do that. Right. So nobody should buy my card game. But because my whole thing is.
No, I like that.
Yeah.
Actually.
See, it's about knowing your value and knowing how to articulate the value. Right.
Okay.
So me telling people what they should do is not a part of the negotiation process. For the people that may be interested in a tool that would help them vet the opposite sex a lot better, and there's nothing better than asking questions to vet a person, right? No matter what environment it is, where you got a criminal in the interrogation room or whether you're in a courtroom, what are you doing? Asking questions, right? So it will behoove you to buy my card game if you're a person that would like to vet another person that you're potentially looking to, date or marry, to find out if y'all are compatible. And guess what? In a lot of cases, that person's going to fail. But one thing my card game would help you do, you ain't going to get pregnant by that person, or you ain't going to get that person pregnant. Because after you play my card game, you're going to be like, oh, hell no. This nigga crazy. Or this woman is batshit crazy. I'm out of here. So it's going to save you from getting pregnant by some pookie or getting some crazy woman pregnant,
Got you. Okay. So your cards definitely help people understand the difference between chemistry and compatibility.
Literally, because look, you got to remember what I teach, attachment, right? Mm-hmm. So what do you think is in the questions? Attachment type of questions, right? Yeah. It's childhood trauma type of questions. Mm-hmm. I know how to word a card game question where it would actually ask the other person about their childhood trauma without asking the person about their childhood trauma. Because you can't say, what's your childhood trauma? They're going to be like, what? Right. The hell wrong with you? I don't know. But I know how to word things where all you got to do is use my card game as a tool, and you ask that person a direct question, and it's fun because it's a card game, and they're going to be like, well, my dad wasn't around. My mom was this. I grew up in the projects, and I've dealt with this. I never got along with my dad. And then boom, you're like, wow, I got a whole dossier of this person in 10 minutes. Right. Now you can make an educated decision and not an emotional decision because he tall or because he got broad shoulders or she got a fat ass. No, these cards are going to tell you if this person is the right person. Perfect. Forget about the physical stuff.
Got you. Okay. Awesome. I'm going to dig into 4 cards I picked out for you here. Well, they kind of just flew out. So my first question for you is, how easy do you find it for you to get close to people?
I love getting close to people. And I look at intimacy as just people, right? Mm-hmm. Because relationships are friendships, is coworkers, is, so I look at getting close to people as just people, period, right? Yeah. Not just romantic, because a relationship could be helpful no matter who the person is, right? So I'm very open to getting close to people because I always, no matter who the person is, I kind of like want to know their childhood trauma. Yeah. So we about to work together, say we about to do a podcast together. I kind of like want to know where you from, what kind of person you are before we start this financial endeavor. So whether it's a relationship, a romantic relationship, or a business relationship, yeah, I'm totally open to getting to know people because I want to know where my boundaries are. So I don't want to be at no bar and we talking about something and then you turn around and spaz out on me and we just looking at the football game. You're like, bro, chill. Yeah. Or we meet 2 chicks and then we go to their house or whatever and you a weirdo. Yeah. And you do some crap and you're like, bro, now I'm looking like a weirdo because you're a weirdo. So it's not just romantic. Yeah. I like learning more about just people that I have around me because, like I said, they could be P. Diddy Jr. or something. Gotcha. Get this nigga away from me, But romantic, of course, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Do you think men and women can be friends? Why or why not? And I love asking men this question because I normally get the same answer, and I think you're going to give me something different.
Of course. I love being friends with women.
That's what I'm talking about.
Because the thing about it is, she's a person. They're just a person with titties. It's okay. She's still a damn person, right? So I'm sorry. I ain't trying to be around a bunch of dudes all the time.
That's what's up.
I ain't trying to be around no dudes. Like, I don't really like dudes like that. I don't want to be hanging around dudes. So I got homeboys, but guess what? A lot of my homeboys, they married.
Yeah.
You know, I was married. You know, I'm the only person that divorced and stuff. My other homeboy's still married, right?
Yeah.
I was talking to one of them the other day. So, like, I'm not a type of person that we all just in the house. You know, we could have a spades game. We're going to have chicks around.
Yeah.
So any situation that I have when it comes to dudes, we're going to have chicks around, whether it's strippers, whether it's our girlfriends or some randoms or whatever. We're going to have some chicks around. So I ain't trying to be around no dudes all the time. So I don't really understand not having a woman as a friend. Now, do I need to have sex with that woman? Because a lot of dudes be like, if I have a female friend and she's attractive, I'm going to want to have sex with her. Well, that dude ain't getting no ass. Because I'm sorry, if I have an attractive female friend, why can't I sleep with another woman that is as attractive as her? Because the reason why I will be compelled to have sex with her, because I never had sex with her before.
Oh, okay. That's a different perspective.
My female friends, I've had sex with women that looked like them before, or still are having sex with women that look like her before. I don't have to have sex with her.
Gotcha.
I had sex with her.
Got you. So you've gotten all that out your system for the most part.
No,
As far as...
I'm just not having sex with her. I'm having sex with her.
Okay, I got you.
It's not out of my system. It's never out of my system.
Okay.
I'm always gonna love attractive women. I don't understand women saying I got out of my system. It's never out of our system.
Got you.
But when we get used to certain things, it's normal.
Okay.
So it's not out of our system. It's just normal. So if I'm around the baddest looking woman that you can ever see, and I ain't never had sex with the baddest looking woman that I would ever see, oh yeah, I'm gonna be staring at her like, oh, I wonder how it looks. I know how it looks. I know how it is to have sex with you, because I had sex with you before. So it's not a big deal.
Okay, that's interesting.
Fellas, just go in a strip club and, I don't know, buy a stripper or something. I don't know. Find a woman that looks the best woman. Buy her or something. Do something. Like you gotta get to a high status of sexual dominance where you won't be so weird around a beautiful woman.
Got you.
Go have sex with a beautiful woman, fellas. It's crazy if you haven't.
Got you.
Because you can buy them.
Got you. Because this one man said to me, you don't befriend thieves. Basically saying you don't befriend men because all men want from you is sex.
If you ain't getting sex.
Got you. And you just broke that
if
down.
you hungry, right? I put some food in front of you. You gonna eat it, right?
I am.
But if you just ate that food and I bring you some more food, are you gonna eat it?
No.
You ain't hungry.
Got you.
What they say, never go grocery shopping when you hungry.
Got you.
So if you ain't getting no ass, of course you can't have a female friend because you're gonna be sitting there staring at her.
That makes sense.
But if you just got some ass or just got some ass last Thursday and the woman that you slept with somewhat looks like the girl or looks better or as good as a girl that you cool with, you ain't trying to sleep with her.
Got you. Okay.
So these dudes aren't getting ass.
Okay. That.
Fellas, you got your income tax money. Go spend it on a stripper and try to have sex with the baddest stripper in the club. It's gonna be like $2,500 or something like that. It's okay. You got to get your brain straight. You know.
Got you. Okay, that makes sense. Let me ask you this.
And I'm not telling men to go solicit. I'm just saying, if you can't use your mouthpiece to get a beautiful woman, you have to do it in some type of way to be able to say you did it and feel like you did it, so you won't be these hungry men out here staring at pretty women. Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
And saying stuff like what the other man just said that I mentioned. Okay.
Yeah.
What's the worst date you have ever been on?
A date?
Yeah.
I've been in situations, but I haven't been in a terrible date. Because I can't be on a terrible date if the woman I have not had sex with yet is attractive.
Okay.
Unless she beats me up or I don't know. I don't know what a bad date would be.
You ain't never ran into maybe somebody, maybe you did go on a date with somebody and you ran into a woman who maybe had misconceptions about your personality because of the clips that go viral?
Yeah. But remember, I have a tell me more approach.
Oh.
So she says some crazy shit. I'm like, so why do you think that? And then with my eyes and my, amazing charm, I'm gonna look into her eyes like, oh wow, really? You think that about me? Oh my God. And then, next day, and it's gonna
And it goes over
oh,
there. I
it's
got
gonna
you.
work out, So I don't have bad situations. Now I had a woman, remember I talked about getting set up. I had a woman like try to set me up
Wow.
to get robbed, but I pulled up in my work truck. And
Got you.
I was in my work clothes. So they like, cause
Yeah. So it's like, no, he ain't got
he
no.
ain't got no money. So she literally told me
Wow.
cause she was like, yeah, come over. Da, da, da. And cause I used to drive trucks, right? And I had it was a work truck. And the work truck, you could tell ain't no money in the truck. It was just a work truck. So I would be, working or whatever. And I was in her vicinity and I was like, what's up? She's like, oh, come over. And she had dudes like ready to, rob me. But I came on my work truck or whatever. And I had, I didn't have a work clothes on, but I had work clothes on.
I get what you
I
mean.
looked like I'm working plus the truck. So I got out the truck and and we did what we did. And she was just looking like, and I was like, what's wrong with you? She was like, just leave. I was like,
Oh.
damn, like the dick wasn't good or something like. And she was like, just leave. I'm like, you finna turn to a werewolf or something? And what are you? What? Like she's telling me to get out of her. I'm like, why? If you don't leave, something is gonna happen to you. This was a setup, but you don't look like you got no damn money. And I was like, oh. I just walked out. I was
No
like,
clothes on. Got the hell on.
right?
Oh
She was
my
like, you
God.
don't look like you got no money. Just get out. And I was just like, and pulling away, and it was dudes
Coming.
in places. They weren't coming. They was
Okay.
just dudes. And it was another situation. This has happened to me a few times. I'm sorry. Back in the day, I used to love hood rats. So these aren't dates, but these are horrific situations. So that was a horrific situation, right? Another horrific situation was, she was so bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, if you ain't getting bad chicks, you're going to do stupid stuff for the bad chick, right?
Yeah.
She lived in a terrible neighborhood, right?
Okay.
And I go over to her house, right? And this has happened to me a couple times. I'm stupid, okay? I go in there, we smash or whatever, everything's good, right? So I'm leaving out, and she's at the door, like, looking out through the blinds, like, and I'm like, what? She's like, nothing. And I look out the blinds, like, oh shit. Guess what? Guess what's going on outside the house?
Don't tell me the niggas trying to come in the house.
No, they sitting on my car.
No.
I'm like, damn it. But because I'm from the hood, this is a warning.
Okay.
I already know. This is not we finna rob you.
Okay.
If they sitting on my car, it's a warning. I understand hood politics.
Okay.
They're like, why is you here? So they finna try me. So I just walk out there, look all of them straight in the face. You know what I mean? Like, what's happening? Oh, this you? Yeah. And they look at me and I look at them and they get off my car. I just don't come back.
God.
And that has happened to me a few times. It's a warning.
Yeah.
Don't come back over here or we gonna fuck you up.
That's crazy. But what?
Because if they were looking to rob me, they wouldn't be sitting on my car.
Yeah.
If I had a gun, I'd be like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
They ain't got. I'm not saying they don't have guns on them, but they ain't got no guns drawn. Why would I draw my gun? I got a gun on me.
Yeah.
It's a warning because the thing about it is, don't nobody want to die.
Yeah.
It's just like, come over here again and see what happens. And I'll never come back over.
So they sat in the car was because you was in her house?
Yeah.
That's okay.
If a dude in the hood
Okay.
If a dude pulls up and you don't recognize a car, and in the hood, you recognize the nigga cars that be in the hood.
Okay.
So if they don't recognize your car, and I ain't pulling up in my nicest car.
Yeah.
I'm pulling up in an okay car that ain't got no rims on it back in the day,
Yeah.
just a normal car. And if they don't recognize me or the car, they like, and they see where I'm going, and it's the bad chick in the neighborhood.
Got you. Okay.
I'm like, who's this nigga? Oh, this nigga must be bold. So the reason why they did not mess with me is because it's a possibility that I could be somebody.
Got you. Okay. No, I got you. I was just trying to figure out.
They don't know who I am, but I may be somebody if I'm sleeping with this bad chick. So they can't just do something because my cousin, or my uncle, in the drug game in the hood, everybody's some kin to somebody.
Right.
So it's you either a part of a gang or you some kin to somebody. So you ain't quick to just do something because you don't know who he know.
Got you.
So if I walk out there like I know somebody and it's like I know what you doing and I'm not, I'm just like, what's up? Oh, this is my car. And look at you straight in the face like, oh, this is my car. We good.
Got you.
I ain't want no problems. You don't want no problems because you don't know who I am. I literally, this was in another state. I literally was messing with a dude's chick.
Not a dude's chick.
And not a dude. I'm sorry. I was messing with a neighborhood's chick, not a dude's chick.
Okay. Gotcha.
Right. And dudes caught me out somewhere because I was in another state.
Yeah.
Right. And they was like, yo, who is you? And I said, I'm a Temple. And I'm just making up a last name.
Yeah.
But I know what last name runs that entire city. And they was like, who is you? I'm not a part of a gang, but I lied and said, I'm a so-and-so. I'm a Tucker.
Yeah.
I'm a whatever, And they like, who you know? So-and-so? Because I knew somebody.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And they let me out.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Never went back.
Gotcha.
But do you see negotiation?
Yeah, I see it.
Do you see how I don't have to be in control and be in control?
Yeah, I see it.
My life is full of giving people control. You can beat me up right now because you have the upper hand. You sitting on my car.
Yeah.
But do you want to beat me up?
Got you.
You don't want to do this. And I ain't kidding nobody.
Yeah.
But you don't know that.
I got you. I got one more question for you.
Yeah.
As a child,
Mm-hmm.
when you think about your childhood, do you feel that there were any needs that were not met and it affected your relationships?
Not growing up. I have a dad, but not growing up with my dad. I didn't know who to be mad at because my mom took me from my dad.
Okay.
Right. And that's another reason why I'm so against single motherhood.
Okay.
Because, my mom did not have the right to just take me from my dad. So it was a good reason, right? But at the same time, it was still not good, right?
You think she could have at least made it a way where you could see him and he could be in your life?
Right. Put together some type of systematic way. So I was born in Philly. I don't know nothing about Philly. I got family in Philly, but I don't know, I think I was born in West Philly. I mean, from West Philly, but I left like at 5, right?
Gotcha.
So when I was 5, my mom just up and left. And my dad was like, yo, what you doing? We're out of here. Because it was a bad neighborhood.
Yeah.
Philly's bad now. Yeah. So I understood why, but it wasn't enough communication between my dad and my mom where they didn't have a plan. So she was just gone.
Yeah.
And then we moved to Syracuse. And then we moved to Virginia. Then we moved to Raleigh, North Carolina. Then we moved to Atlanta. My dad is like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
Like you're so displaced. Because my mom was broke. She just wanted to get away. So we living with this person. What are we doing? Like, leave me with my dad. What the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
So when we finally moved to the projects, after being homeless, after living in a homeless shelter, it wasn't a homeless shelter. It was a homeless house. It was a big old house. And it was a lot of homeless families in the house. Mm-hmm. Right. We lived with some random person, and I don't know who the hell the person was. It was just a whole bunch of stuff, right? So we was displaced.
Yeah.
My dad, and wasn't cell phones back then, so my dad didn't know what the hell was going on. So it got to the point where I haven't spoke to my dad in years because my dad didn't know what the hell we were, and we didn't know what the hell we were because we were living in different places.
Yeah.
So I didn't know who to be angry at. Should I be mad that my dad ain't around? But my dad don't even know what the hell we are.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, should I be mad at my mom for taking me from my dad?
Yeah.
So yeah, there was a lot of feelings of who to be mad at. But at the end of the day, since me and my mom had so much of a great relationship, she literally told me like, yo, Philly is trash.
Yeah.
Like, you do not want to grow up in Philly. Because it was a rumor. My mom probably made this up because my other family members said that wasn't, or they didn't know. But my family members weren't so close.
Right.
So they may not have even known it was going on. Because hood stuff don't spread around to people that's not from the hood. So I don't know. But my mom told me that my uncle got killed and it was a hit out on his family members. So she had to get the hell on because all of us would have been dead if she would have stayed. Because he did something, sold something, or did something, or I don't know, robbed somebody, or I don't know, killed somebody. I'm a kid, I don't know. And he was running around, or the other people was running around knocking family members off. And my uncle died in my mom's arms, like on Minister Society. Wow. But it could have been a lie. I don't know, because my family members were so separated. So I don't really know. But all together, my mom told me that's the reason why we left Philly. So I was like, I can't be mad at you.
Yeah, if that's the case.
If that's the case.
Yeah.
So when I talked to my dad was like, your mama just went up and just took you out of here. So what I supposed to do? And then he went to the military. So he in different countries, and so I'm like, damn, I can't be mad at either person.
So there's just a lot of turmoil within yourself with that.
But once I got an understanding of, because to answer your question, I unresolved those feelings by going to therapy. Because therapy, for anybody watching, please go to therapy over and over again, and go to different therapists. Because your first therapist might be trash, might have their own issues or whatever. Because therapists don't be getting therapy, right? So these therapists be nuts, right? Get different therapists. And it's just a practice of getting different therapists so you can learn something about therapy yourself, right? So I went to therapy, and one time, like the first time I went to therapy, and the therapist, it was a male therapist, and he kind of told me, he said, it will be a good practice to not just look at what happened to you, change your perspective on what happened to you. So he's like, tell me about your dad, right? And I would go back to see my dad at the age of 13, 14. It was like 16, something like that, right? Mm-hmm. I had a car. My dad didn't have a car. So I would go back to see my dad, and I was an asshole. I was arrogant. I was a drug dealer. Yeah. Not only did I have a car, remember, I had a $1,200 paint job on the car. Yeah. I had speakers in the back. Yeah. I had a system. I'm bumping, riding down the street. I'm CDs and tapes, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm killing it. And not just a paint job. I had a candy paint job. Back in the day, it was pearl. My homeboy had white with green pearl. Mm-hmm. I had white with blue pearl, and my other homeboy had white with red pearl. And people who don't know what pearl means is white, but when the sun hits it, it turns blue. Yeah,
my dad had a similar paint job to his car. That's how I'm familiar with it.
So imagine me, 14. I wasn't 13 when I had a car. I was like 15. Okay. Imagine me. I got Jordans on, a little money in my pocket, a $1,200 paint job car, and my dad is in his 40s, ain't got no car. I'm up here like, yo, why we walking? What we doing? Like, what happened? What happened? What's going on? Like, why we walking through grass? Like, I got Jordans on. Like, do you know? Like, what are we doing? We went to the basketball court. I don't want to play basketball. I got brand new Jordans on. I'm going to another city. I got my best clothes on.
Yeah.
I'm not getting dirty, and the city is dirty. So the basketball court is dirty. It's not like, you know what I'm saying? It's a hood. I'm like, I'm not trying to do, yo, what did I just touch? Like what are we doing here? Like, yo, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even the chicks, it was like my cousin will hook me up with this, ugly chick because like, I'm not going to get the baddest chick. I'm the cousin. Like, you're going to get the scraps. I'm like, I don't want her. Like, what the hell?
Oh my God.
What are we doing? So I ain't even sleep with the girl that they gave me. I'm sorry, ladies, but you know how you take one for the team.
Oh my God.
I turned down. I'm like, I don't know you niggas. Like, no.
Oh wow.
No. What are we doing? So I was super arrogant, and they like, yo, this nigga.
Yeah.
So when I came back from seeing my dad, they like, yo, I don't like him. He made me feel like he affected my self-esteem, and he's a child. Like, I don't like him.
Yeah.
So he stopped calling me.
Damn. Your dad too, or was it just the cousins and stuff? All of them.
Well, you got a house phone. Don't nobody have your phone number, but your dad and stuff like that. Like, we don't care enough about each other to be talking to each other like that. I ain't been around you since I was like 6.
Yeah.
I don't know none of y'all to be sitting on the phone with y'all. It ain't no cell phones. I'm not sitting in my house phone talking to the dude that I don't know.
Got you, and you was already ripping and running.
And I'm ripping and running. I got a car.
Yeah.
I don't want to. Even if I had their phone numbers, they wouldn't hear from me. So I wasn't mad that my dad wasn't talking to me, didn't call me. I would feel like, did my dad call? Nope. No, and I'd be like, well, fuck that nigga,
You grew very numb to it after a while.
It wasn't numb. I was busy.
Okay.
I'm out with girls and stuff. Back in the day, I would literally ride down I'm sorry, I'm always in somebody else's hood. So I'll just ride through a neighborhood, blaming my music.
Yeah.
And ride back up the street. And what happens when I ride back up the street?
You tell me, because
what do you think is happening when I ride back up the street that I just rode down? What do you think?
You have to tell me, because I don't know. What happens when you ride back up the street?
Hood rats are on their porch wondering who that was that rolled down the street.
Oh, I can imagine with your car. Okay, got you.
So I ride back up the street. It's like about 3 different chicks at their screen door or looking out. And I'm like, come here. And she come out with her little shorts on, house shoes, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, shit, what, you got a boyfriend? No, I ain't got no boyfriend. Shit, let me come see you. Okay. And then boom. That's how it was back in the day.
I gotta ask you another question.
It wasn't all this Instagram DMs and swipe right. No, I'm pulling up on you. One last quick story. I was so arrogant or whatever. It'd be a chick walking, right? Mm-hmm. This actually was out here.
Okay.
Panola Road somewhere. I don't remember what the street was. Snapfinger. It was somewhere. It was a main intersection, right? Okay. It was just a chick walking home, right? I pulled up on her and I was like, yo, can I walk you home? And she was like, because I already understand I'm not going to say get in my car. She ain't going to get in, right? Yeah. I don't want to sound like a weirdo. I'm like, hey, you so pretty. Like, can I walk you home? She was like, you're in a car. I know. I pull over at the Popeyes or whatever and walk you home. And she was like, okay. So I pulled over at the Popeyes and, walked her home. And she was just like, that was so sweet.
Yeah.
So I walked her home, got a phone number, whatever, like, can I come see you, and yeah. But that's the type of stuff I would do.
And I know you said busy, right?
I was busy.
Busy. But do you think being busy kept maybe your feelings down from your dad not contacting you?
Maybe. I can't say yes or no. I'm a kid. I don't know. If I didn't, because if I had a car, I had a bike and riding bikes and stuff, and we riding the. I'm going from, put it like this. You know what Pride Road was? Pride Road.
I ain't from Atlanta.
Oh. You know where downtown is?
I know where downtown is.
Okay. The distance from where we are now to downtown Atlanta, we would ride our bikes that far as 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds. So maybe what you said was right, but we just outside either playing video games. Before we had video games in the house, we playing arcade games.
Gotcha.
Back in the day, it was an arcade downtown at the Omni, and there's a big old it was like super big, and it'd be like 200 arcade games, Pac-Man and all this other stuff. And we just at the arcade talking to girls, or we at the mall. So yeah, it could have been, but man, I had stuff to do. I wasn't thinking about no dad. I'm like, man, or we playing football. Man, please. I was a kid.
All right. Got one more question for you, and then we got to dive into where we can find you, where we can get the card game, all of that stuff. In regards to dating, relationships, all of that stuff, what was the hardest lesson you learned in adulthood in that?
That women don't want help.
Oh, man.
I'm dead ass serious. Women don't. When I say help, I mean their childhood trauma.
Okay.
Pay their bills, fix a car, or answer a question. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But the childhood trauma stuff, they don't want help. All they seem to want, because I'm not a woman, all they seem to want. So I'll say women don't seem to want help. They don't want to let go of their childhood trauma. They don't want to heal from their childhood trauma. Because being dysfunctional or being in some type of way maladaptive gets them attention and gets them victimhood. So say I had a magic wand and I ran around just boop, boop, boop. You have no more childhood trauma. She can no longer be a victim of nothing. She can no longer complain about nothing. She can't catastrophize about nothing because she's healed. So women necessarily, and I'm speaking as a man and not as a woman, so I may be off base, but women don't want to heal because then they can't be victimized. I mean, they can't be victims of the shit that they went through. I've been through so much. You can't say you've been through so much if you're healed.
Right.
Do you know how much that victimization gets the attention?
Yeah,
You ever been on TikTok? All they do is sit in their little cars with their little cloth and tear like, men are this and men are that. Do you actually think they want to stop making TikToks? They get paid to be on TikTok to whine about women. I mean, whine about men. And dudes whining about women. So they don't want to heal because they are okay. They're so attached to their trauma where, to a certain degree, speaking as a man, they don't know who they would be without their trauma. Their friends are connected to their trauma. Their trauma bond with their friends. Their mama. Their cousins. You know, like when women come in my coaching group, one of the side effects of healing and being in my coaching group, you're going to feel alone. You're going to lose friends. Yeah. Your auntie ain't going to want to talk to you no more. Your people, your cousin's going to be like, oh, you think you too good. You in that little coaching class. What they over there? What they over there? Everybody judging you because you're finally bettering yourself. People don't want to do that. It's lonely.
I agree. The only thing I never agree with is generalizations. Women, men.
So I supposed to say cats, dogs?
Some women.
I don't want to say some women.
I know you don't. I'm just saying.
Why?
Agree with you.
Why?
Because there's a lot of women who can hold themselves accountable.
I want you to think about this, though.
Yeah.
Who cares?
I guess I do. That's why I brought it up.
Let me say this. And this is going to help everybody with all this crap that you just said. Some women...
Why I got to be crap, though?
It's crap. So I'm telling you why it's crap.
Okay.
You're not from here, right?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wherever you from, what if they would say, what if you just called them up and got on a speakerphone and be like, yo, I heard all the dudes in Atlanta be gay, right? What do you think I would say to that?
All dudes in Atlanta ain't gay.
No, I'd be like, no.
What would you say? What would you say?
I'll say you right. Because it's true. These niggas be gay as hell. But am I gay? No. But I don't have to take up for myself if I'm not that. I don't care. So if a woman isn't going through all this stuff, she isn't traumatized, she isn't dysfunctional, she isn't nuts, she wouldn't care.
She shouldn't care.
No, she wouldn't care.
There's a lot of women who aren't dysfunctional and they're not going through...
they don't think they're dysfunctional.
Okay.
Because if you feel attached, right? Attachment, right? If you feel so attached to another woman's story, why do you think you feel like that? Because you are them. So when I say these dysfunctional women or this woman or childhood trauma, blah, 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 or women don't want to grow or women don't want to, the reason why you or another woman would turn around and say, well, not all women, is because you feel this insatiable need to either empathize with that other woman because you are her, or either you want to disassociate yourself from her because you don't want to look like her. I don't care about it being gay dudes in Atlanta. So if anybody says these dudes in Atlanta be gay, I'll be like, oh yeah, they gay as hell. But that don't mean I'm gay. I don't need to take up for gay people because I'm not gay. And I don't need to take up for me being a heterosexual man living in Atlanta. I don't give a shit. So a healed person doesn't give a shit.
You don't think healed people empathize with other people?
I would say no, but I would say yes also. Because empathy there's a difference between sympathizing and empathizing. Sympathy is when you are not them, but you can understand why they're sad.
Okay.
Empathy is when you are them. You can look it up yourself. That's the difference between sympathy and empathy.
Okay.
I can connect with you because I am you. You're just in a worse situation than I am than me. So you're just like, oh, wow, you know? Okay. But a person that sympathizes with people, well, you're just like, damn, that's crazy. I would never want to be there, but I understand why it's so hard. I'm just not you, though. See, when you empathize with somebody, and I'm not saying empathy is a bad thing, but when women not all women, you're literally telling me, not you, but you're literally telling me that you are as bad as the other women, but you have to find a way in your mind to articulate yourself out of it, rationalize yourself out of it and say, well, I was, you know how women be like, I was young and dumb and she did some dumb shit last Thursday.
Well, I was young and dumb, and I did some stuff, and I think that's where...
Last Thursday?
No, not last Thursday.
But you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So women would find ways to not be them, but understand them. I was young and dumb. Like, shut up. Like, just say it's some dumb shit. They have to intellectualize themselves always.
Okay.
You ever look at Joe Budden podcast? Please say yes.
I don't. I see
oh
clips
my
and
God.
Stuff.
Melissa Ford does this shit all the time. She has no damn sense, but she intellectualize everything. Like on the podcast, they'll say, what do you think, Melissa Ford? She, come back to me. But through the whole time, she'll be like, y'all are so dumb. I'm smarter than y'all. But she never shows how smart she is ever. When they call on her, it's a podcast. She talks the less on the entire podcast. And anybody watching, you know, she literally, and then when she does say something, it's some dumb shit. And they're like, oh my God, I can't believe you said that. She goes viral every time she opens her mouth because it's some dumb shit. But this is what a lot of women do. They turn around and they would know that they're as something as the other woman, right? Like, because we all are traumatized, right? I've been traumatized, just like I told you, right? Yeah. I had to beat up my mom's boyfriends, but I got therapy over and over and over again. After a breakup, I would get therapy. Therapy has become a habit. Yeah. I stubbed my toe, I'm gonna go get some therapy. Oh, that's right. You feel me? Yeah. So the thing about it is, I'm not saying that I'm better than other people. I'm not saying that I'm totally healed, because we're never totally healed, but I'm not the other people. Because if I'm you, I can't be a coach.
Yeah.
but I've been there before because most coaches have played the game. But I'm never going to be a woman.
Yeah.
But I have been traumatized. My mom was traumatized and I was able to see her. So I see my mom in a lot of the women that are on social media, on TikTok, sitting in their cars, complaining about men, how they trash or whatever. Do you realize right now on TikTok, they're literally having conversations is a viral thing? Would you rather be in the woods with a man or a bear? And they're literally like, I would rather be in the woods with a bear.
I saw something like that a while ago.
This is the shit I'm talking about. But any one of those women will intellectualize themselves out of saying that they're traumatized. Not all women, them. So when I hear not all women, it tells me it's like an identifier. Like, oop, there goes one. There goes one. There goes one. Oh, there's another one. It's like a spotted cat versus a cat with a stripe down his back, or an all white cat, or a black cat, or an orange cat. You know, the orange cat be crazy.
I get you.
The orange cats be crazy.
I get you.
So it's an identifier. I need to know what the orange cats are.
I agree with you. The scenario you gave me about the woman saying all men are gay. And
yeah, I don't give a shit.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. And
because I'm not them.
It's making me rethink that. But at the same time, though, I'm still stand on what
I'm not gay. I've never been gay, so I don't give a shit. But if I used to be gay and I'm not gay now, right? I'm delivered. I don't like men's no more. Like one of them dudes, right? I would empathize with the dude and be like, I'm not gay. Because I bet that dude that says I'm delivered, I forgot his name. I bet if somebody says somebody gay, he'll be like, I'm not gay. Right? Because he used to be gay. So the people who used to be that person, they identify with that person because they are that person. They still have those inhibitions as that person. A dude that used to be gay, I'm sure, still like gay shit. So a woman that isn't that, but she was that last Thursday, identifies with that. That's why women have this insatiable need to defend other women, defend single motherhood, defend women who ain't even single mothers be defending single motherhood. Women who be married be defend. Why? Because she was a hoe at some point.
You think so?
Yeah, she let a dude dump in her and she sat on the toilet waiting for it to run out of her like, and she's looking at the dumb dude laying in the bed like, this nigga ain't got no job. This nigga ain't got no car. While it's just slowly running out of her, she's like, what the fuck am I doing?
You know what, man?
She was that woman. So she identifies every time she sits on a toilet as a married woman. She's like, damn, I come a long way. Now my husband's stuff is running out of me and I'm in a better situation, but I was her.
So you can help the woman that you was. That's why I say all women.
Why do you want to? Okay.
That's the part of the reason.
Why do random women want to help random women?
Well, I know this is a part of the reason why I created this platform is because I want to serve in my own way. I have my own childhood trauma with my parents as to why I dated in all these toxic ways. And it was more so because of my relationship with my father. And my parents, they're still together after 30 plus years. Stayed in the same household, all of that stuff. But I went through a lot because they toughed it out. And I also had a bad relationship with my dad. And for me...
He was emotionally unavailable?
He was all of that. So with him being emotionally unavailable and other things, I always found myself trying to prove myself. So I would get with guys subconsciously.
To prove to yourself.
Prove myself to these men. And would replay these dynamics just like you described in your bio until I finally ended up in a situation where I had to really look at myself and I had to hold myself accountable. So, I want to help women hold themselves accountable.
But you can't help women hold themselves accountable by acting like them. And I'm not saying you're acting like them, but the not all women thing, it's a defense mechanism. You feel the impulse. Remember, I help women change their impulses, right? Not all women is an impulse to protect another woman that you used to be. Let that woman go through what she going through. Unless you can financially or physically grab that woman and change her life, she's just some woman on social media. Or I'm talking on social media and all these women want to get in my comments. Not all women, not all women. And I'm like, do y'all realize 30 of y'all said not all women? Do y'all know how dumb y'all sound? Like, it don't make no damn sense. Like, shut up.
Nah, shut up.
Like, it don't make no sense. Like, what are you doing?
Nah, shut up, Mr.
And they see the other women in the comments saying not all women, and they say not all women too. Why? Do y'all realize that y'all are showing y'all all artists, not all, but y'all are the same? All the women that said not all women? 30 women are acting the same, saying not all women. We're not the same. You aren't showing that you're the same, but you don't see nothing wrong with that. Just as an example. Shit I be saying. I just be like, this shit is crazy.
I got you, Mr. Lego. You gave me something. You gave me something to think about. I'm gonna say that. You gave me something to think about.
Yeah. And I'm not demonizing anybody. I'm just here to change your perspective and your impulses and stop, or if you would like to stop, seeing everything out there as a threat. Men are not a threat. Women aren't a threat. There's no threats. Something can happen. A car can run into another car, but was the other car a threat to the other car? No, just somebody just didn't maintain the lane. Somebody made a left turn and wasn't looking, but they didn't threaten, I'm going to run into this other car. Yeah. So to a certain degree, women have a tendency to think that somebody is out to get them, whether it's me or a dude or other women, somebody hating on her or whatever. Like, we all just trying to live.
Got you.
Got you. Okay. You gotta tell the audience where they can get your game, deeper discussions, card game, where they can find you, all of that good stuff.
All right, so Mr. Let Go on YouTube, MRLETGO on YouTube. Mr. Let Go on Facebook, MRLETGO. Also, I am _ Mr. Let Go on Instagram. TikTok, I don't give a shit. TikTok just stupid. They're about to ban anyway, so all them women sitting in their cars on TikTok, they're gonna be mad as hell because they're gonna go on TikTok and be like, what happened? Oh my God, I can't complain about men anymore. But you can buy my Deeper Discussions card game on deeperdiscussions.shop.
Okay.
HTTPS or whatever, deeperdiscussions.shop, or either go on any of my platforms and you'll see my Deeper Discussions everywhere. It's on every video. You'll see it. It's in my bio. It's everywhere.
Bet. Okay. I'm going to have all of those links in the show notes so people can grab that. I want to thank you so much for coming on.
No problem. This was fun.
Also, I want to thank all of the listeners for tuning in and the viewers for watching. And until next time.